Good day. In this video, we're going to show you how to work with negative exponents to simplify these problems. But first we have to summarize a lot of basics. Firstly, you know that a to the power of 3 means a times a times a. Then you know that anything to the power of 0 is 1, as long as that base is not a naught. Naught to the power of naught is undefined. If you have a base with a negative exponent, you will put it under a line, make the exponent positive, put a 1 on top. If you have a 1 over a base with a negative exponent, you will bring it up over 1 with a positive exponent, which is the same in this case as a. If you see something like this, together this whole thing is called a power. That 2 you see over there is called the base, and it's always positive. The 3 you see there in the air is called an exponent or an index. It can be any sign, plus or minus, even fractions. And the whole power is always positive. It doesn't mean your answer can't have a minus in it. If you have a minus 2 to the power of 3, the answer is minus 8. Like we said, the power itself is always positive. And this minus is loose of the power. Therefore, the answer, minus 8. Except for the other things that you must also remember. The basic laws of exponents are: the first law says, if you multiply and the bases are the same, you write down the base once and you add the exponents. Example, 2 to the power of 3 times 2 to the power of 4. The bases are the same. I am timesing, then I add the exponents in the air. So I get 2 to the power of 7. The second law says, if you divide two powers and the bases are the same, you write down the base once and you minus the exponents in the air. Example, 2 to the power of 4 divided by 2 to the power of 3 is 2 to the power of 4 minus 3, which is 2 to the power of 1. The next law says, if I have something in a bracket like this, with an exponent outside there, I will times the exponent to both the numbers in the air there. There's a 1 there and there. So this will become a to the power of n, b to the power of n. Example, you have a 2, e to the power of 2, everything to the power of 3. You times the 3 with a 1 over there, like here. You times the 3 with a 2 over there, like here. And your final answer will be 2 to the power of 3, e to the power of 6. Same will apply if you have a bracket with a division in here. You times that n to the 1 in the air there and the n with that 2 down there. Then you get this answer. Example, 2 square over 3 to the power of 3, everything to the power of 3. You times that 3 with that 2, you'll get a 6 in the air. Times that 3 with that 3, and you'll get a 9 in the air there. These are the basic rules that we should keep in the back of our minds. Remember that any base that has no exponent actually has a 1 standing in the air with it. Please remember that 1 to the power of anything is always 1. But minus 1 to the power of something, that minus is loose, will be minus 1. In this case, you will have to times this minus with itself 4 times. Minus times a minus is a plus, times a minus is a minus, times a minus is that plus, still 1. So if you have a bracket with a minus in it, with an even number as an exponent, the answer will always be positive. Like we said, any base to the power of 0 is going to be 1, as long as the base is not 0. 7 to the power of 0 is 1, minus 7 to the power of 0, the minus is loose, is minus 1, and this minus 7 to the power of 0 is plus 1. Remember, 0 to the power of 0 is undefined. Now to get to the negative exponents, if you have a base with a negative exponent, you can put that all over 1. Then you can bring this down and make it a positive exponent with a 1 placeholder at the top. If you have a fraction like this, with a base with a negative exponent at the bottom, you can take this negative up, keep the base, put the 1 placeholder at the bottom, and then make it a positive exponent. That gives you a square. Now I advise you to write down these 7 powers of base 3 and practice what I'm going to do now a few times. You know that 3 to the power of 0 is 1, 3 to the power of 1 is 3, 3 square is 9, 3 times 3, and 3 to the power of 3 is 3 times 3 is 9 times 3 is 27, that you know since grade 6. Now to find a way to remember what to do with negative exponents. So 3 to the minus 1, you first write it as 3 to the power of minus 1 over 1 as a normal fraction. Then you bring the whole power down and make the exponent positive, keep a placeholder of 1 at the top. So 3 to the minus 1 is a third. 3 to the minus 2, first we write it as a fraction over 1. Then keep a placeholder, bring the whole power down and make the exponent positive, 3 square. And that gives you 1 over 9 or 1/9. So 3 to the power of minus 2 is 1/9. We do the same to 3 to the power of minus 3. Put it over 1, bring it down and make the exponent positive. Final answer 1 over 27. What you must get your head around with negative exponents is that the negative exponent does not make the answer negative. It makes it into a fraction. You need to see that 3 squared is 9 and 3 to the minus 2 also has a 9 in it, but it's a 9th. 3 cubed is 27. The 3 to the minus 3 is 1 over 27. 3 to the power of 1 is 3, but 3 to the minus 1 is 1 over 3, a third. Now we're going to run through quite a few examples that you can get a feeling on how to work these out. The heading usually will say simplify and write your answers with positive exponents. First one is x to the power of minus 4. First we write it as a fraction over 1, then bring it down with a placeholder of 1 at the top and make the exponent positive. Second one looks like this. It says simplify and write your answer with positive exponents. First we write everything as a fraction over 1, then we bring them both down and change their exponents to positive exponents. Here's the third one. Remember the 2 has its own little 1 in the air, so I put everything over 1 in this case. Keep the 2 at the top because it has a positive exponent and bring this x to the power of 2 down and make the exponent positive. Final answer 2 over x squared. The next expression looks like this. In this case we can write everything over 1. Then bring only the part with a negative exponent down, the whole power, so x to the power of plus 3 under the line. Keep the minus 3 at the top. The next expression looks like this. In your mind, you can put the 1 underneath here. Bring the x to the power of minus 4 down, make it positive, and keep the y cube at the top. The next expression looks like this. X e to the power of minus 4, t to the power of minus 1. Again, you can put the imaginary 1 underneath of all of everything. And the final answer will look like this. Please stop the video and get your brain around these three. Let's look at simplifying this one. You bring this whole power up, becomes x to the power of positive 4 at the top. Final answer 2x to the power of 4. Let's simplify this one. Only the e has a negative exponent, so we bring him up to the top. So it becomes e to the power of 1 up here, and the rest stay where they were. What do you think will happen in this one? Yes, the negative powers will swap around. The e squared will go up with a positive 2. The x to the minus 1 will come down with the x to the power of plus 1. Please stop the video and have a look at these three. Remember, some of these sums can be done in different ways. Let's look at one way we can do this one. It says 2 to the minus 3 divided by 2 to the minus 2. Of course, the bases are the same and we are dividing. We write down the base once and we minus the exponents in the air. So it's minus 3 minus minus 2. That gives you 2 to the minus 3 plus 2. The two minuses makes a plus. It gives you 2 to the power of minus 1, which is 1 over 2 to the power of positive 1. So half. If you have trouble understanding this, you must look at the video that says integers plus and minus, integers times and divide. Right, the next one, we have x to the power of 1 divided by x to the power of 5. Of course, we're dividing and the bases are the same. I write down the base once and I minus the exponents in the air. That gives me x to the power of minus 4. Like we said, you might still want to write it over 1 and then bring it down to make your exponent positive. Remember, there is another technique where you can say x goes in itself once here and x goes, cancel one of those x's there. You get 1 over x to the power of 4. Using cancelling, it'll get you to the same answer. Decide which method suits you best. Please type on YouTube exponents -2. There are many more examples that you must look at. If you run into one specific problem that you can't solve, you may send a clear picture to this number and a clear picture of where you tried it. Then we'll try and solve the problem and send it back to you as soon as possible.